Darley were in a really good spot, obviously heading to the grand final.
We knew it was going to be a tough game.
We probably weren't playing our best footy.
There was probably, 2.5 minutes to go, and I thought that, we'd sort of lost the opportunity. Next thing,
oh my goodness!
Billy was awarded the free kick.
Kind of went silent.
The final kick on goal in the hands of Billy Myers.
Yeah, there's definitely something in the water here at Darley.
It's the best football club I've ever come across.
Sort of one bare part of it.
In an absolute nail-biting climax.
Once you come into this football club, you generally don't leave.
This is Dare to Darley. Darley Footy Club, a titan of Victorian country footy. In a town carved from rolling farmland and blue-collar grit, football isn't just a game, it's the heartbeat of life itself. Here, the black and white stripes are more than just colours. They're a symbol of unwavering tradition, fierce pride, and a legacy that stretches across generations. For over a century, Darley Park has borne witness to both triumph and tragedy, where bonds of mateship are forged in the fires of sacrifice and dedication. From local legends to AFL stars, the hallowed grounds have sculpted the careers of icons. Whelan, Gloucester, Scotland, Bewley, and more recently, Aaron Cadman, the 2022 #1 draft pick. But among these names, one stands out with exceptional brilliance: Zak Butters. At just 23, the Port Adelaide and All-Australian superstar, honoured as the AFL Coaches Association Champion Player of the Year in 2023, remains profoundly connected to his roots in Darley. His success on the field is matched only by his deep love for the town that shaped him.
The angle feeds Butters. Butters beats everyone as usual. Goes for home. It's getting ridiculous how good this guy is. Absolutely ridiculous. Now they need to be cleaned. They're not. Butters intervenes. Butters to seal it. Butters does it. Eyes wide with delight.
Just love coming down to the club, loved hanging out with my mates, meeting new people, doing something I really love, which is, I feel like I'm pretty lucky to have in my life.
In the heart of Darley, young Zak Butters was a footy-obsessed local kid. At Darley Primary School, he lived for football, spending hours at Darley Park, idolising senior players and dreaming of an AFL career. His passion, shared with next-door neighbour Billy Myers, drove their dreams of future greatness.
He was probably 6 or 7 when he first moved in, and he used to sit on the fence every night after school and scream my name out until I'd come out and kick the footy with him. We'd sit there I'd want to go have a kick for an hour, and he'd be there 3 hours later still kicking the footy with me. Pretty lucky to have a next-door neighbour like Zak. His family's amazing, and we became really close mates.
Zak was no ordinary talent. Even as a teenager, his speed and competitive edge set him apart. At just 15 years old, he made his senior debut for the Devils, simultaneously representing Vic Metro at the Under-18 National Championships and slated as a top draft prospect.
Well, I remember before he trained with us, obviously the word around the club, he was down the Jets, and he was a highly talented kid, and I was really eager to get him involved, sort of see the potential of this kid Butters. You could just see the class in the kid. He was, his intensity, his competitiveness. What really struck me more than anything was how clean he was. He was a one-touch player and made really sharp decisions.
His potential was undeniable. By the age of 17, he was standing at a crossroads.
After you perform as a 17-year-old, you really want to set yourself up for your 18th year and your draft year and everything that goes into that as well. So there's fitness, there's training programs, there's dealing with clubs and getting an insight into what they're looking for from a recruiting point of view, but also managing your own body and managing yourself so that once you hit your draft season, you are absolutely ready to fire.
With the AFL draft looming large and Darley gearing up for a grand final in 2017, Zak faced a defining choice.
It's a dicey decision because you do want to set yourself up for the following season, so that's what everyone's looking for. What's it going to mean for your draft prospects? But in the case of Zak, clearly going back and playing for Darley was so important to him.
There was definitely a conversation about whether I could play in it or not, and having a few important games coming up for myself individually. But yeah, I had a quick chat to my manager and my TAC Cup coach at the time, and I made it pretty clear from my end what I wanted to do.
There was things to weigh up, and that does also mean that you risk it. You risk potentially getting hurt or getting injured and suffering a setback that would in turn hurt your draft chances the next year. That's a decision that he had to make.
We knew he'd be a bit of a target, potentially playing against a town rival in back smash.
On field, he's unbelievable. He's just, even the way he plays, he's just cheeky and he's unbelievable to watch.
I was probably a bit cheeky as well, and pretty young and small and energetic, so I felt like they were always going to try and come after me a little bit. And
yeah, we had some really mature, experienced guys around him that were there to support him, and we're just giving him the opportunity to showcase his skills.
I was pretty nervous, to be honest. It was pretty much the talk of the town. Definitely that week I was just thinking about the game and footy and yeah, how much I dreamt to be in this situation, and still I'm a bit speechless talking about it today. Yeah, I feel like I was very lucky to be a part of such a great team.
Both of them start forward as well. And we're underway here in the 2017 Grand Final. Boone got up early but couldn't get a fingertip to it.
Even though he's a young guy, a small guy, playing in a Grand Final, it was like the bigger the moment, the more excited he was. And
yeah, everyone was up and about, and there's a fair bit of emotion and passion and nervous energy floating around. It was a really good environment, and I guess that's why everyone loves finals footy and grand finals and big moments, is because it's got that different feel about it.
Butters up against the boundary line, does okay, and kicks it short to Roy.
Look, he was fantastic playing as a small half forward. Again, his ability to put some forward pressure on, but just create some opportunities, and one that sticks to mind actually gave me a nice little cheap, easy goal. But Zak against a couple of men, chased them down, won his own ball back from a smother, give a handball, which then fell into my hands. The kick fell into my hands for a nice cheap goal.
Back inside attacking bit there, Scotland's in space. Scotland from the top of the goal square, puts it into Creswick Street.
His ability to make something happen from not much was pretty evident and clear for such a young kid.
It was important for him to show how good he could be against these senior opposition players and midfielders, because as a player coming through and a prospect coming through, I think we all started to see how brave he was, how courageous he was, how brilliant he was with the footy in his hands. But then getting the opportunity to do it against senior opposition, guys who are, some of them, double his age, was pretty extraordinary. So there's the other part to the decision where actually doing it probably in the end showed how good he could be at the next level.
Although slightly built, his bravery and courage became hallmarks of recruiting notes on the whiteboards of scouts across the country.
Recruiters look for one thing and one thing only to start their drafting, and it's about the player's character. What's his footy character like and what's his personal character like? In seeing Zak go and play for Darley, I think all and sundry recruiters would have seen how professional he is, but also how dedicated he is, and how this kid wanted to go and play for his mates and for his family and for his loyalty to that footy club and to Darley as a town as well. So they were in awe of that.
This is Stratton who went further afield to Butters, kick out wide to Page. Gives the handball to Graham, who steadies and goes towards centre wing.
Looking back, it was a great decision, wasn't it? He went back and played for Darley in the grand final, won, and had that notch on his belt where other players hadn't been able to do that.
Darley are previous.
They are for the second time in 3 seasons.
Number 5, Zak Butters.
Everybody knew Zak was getting drafted. We all knew that was going to happen. It was just a matter of where his selection came in. And it was an interesting year because that was the first year that live trading was a part of draft night, and we saw a couple of deals happen. But a number of clubs called up Port Adelaide on the night and said, we want that pick. We're willing to give you some really good picks in exchange for that selection once they realised that Zak Butters had got through to that number 12 selection. In the end, Port said, no way, we're taking him.
Pick 12, Port Adelaide have selected Zak Butters from the Western Jets.
A little bit later on in the draft, obviously, Brett Bewley was selected by Fremantle, and what a coup for that footy club to be able to get one rolled gold certainty in Zak, but also a player in Brett who was probably on the fringes. You never quite can be sure about later in the draft how those kids are going to go and what selection they're going to be taken, but it was fantastic to double up, and I think the footy club would have celebrated well over those couple of nights.
Cool to sort of have someone close that you knew and trusted to go through that journey with a bit. And especially because he's a bit older, he's probably a bit more mature about it as well, so he sort of calmed me down the stages. Yeah, I guess when we were both taken, I feel like I was so happy for him, seeing the work he put in over them years to stay committed, put so much time into his game. It was really good to see him get the reward and achieve that as well, and then caught up with him later. Yeah, went around to his house and seen him and see his family stoked and happy, and it was a really good thing for the footy club and Brett himself.
You'd hear the names like Brett Bewley going around. He was like, whenever I'd hear he was coming back down, or if I'd see him training, I'd be like, oh, that's Brett Bewley. Like, he was a bit of a celebrity.
Yeah, it was surreal, unbelievable, and to share it with some of my closest mates as well, and yeah, have family there as well to enjoy it was, yeah, it's pretty special.
The toughness that he showed as a junior was so evident to recruiters, and that's so important as well, because if you're picking a player who's a bit smaller, they need to be tough, they need to be able to hold their own, and he has held his own every step of the way at AFL level. We saw that as a bottom ager before he played in that game for Darley, and then in his top age season as well as a draft prospect in 2018. The thing that I like most about Zak in terms of his toughness, and I think it's a little bit crazy too, is that he doesn't wear a mouthguard and hasn't worn a mouthguard ever. Now, he throws himself into contests like absolutely no other. He's been judged the most courageous player in the AFL, and he does it all without the fear of actually getting whacked or hit in the head or knocked on the tooth. So I always marvel at the fact that this guy is so tough, so brave. He's been that way all the way through and doesn't wear a mouthguard, I'm sure to the disappointment of his parents, but I've seen it and always been astounded by how tough this guy is without wearing a mouthguard.
Power Pepper on the run. Little 1-2 with Lysette was delightful. And now he's got Butters in a one-on-one with Laird. Laird, Butters takes him on, takes off, has the Sharon. Young gun, opens up the angle. Kid's good. The kid is really, really good.
The AFL Coaches Association Award is one of the most prestigious in the game. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Players strive to win it because they know the value placed on it. At the end of every game, coaches give their votes. Each senior coach gives a 5-4-3-2-1 rating of the game and the best performers in it.
As an opposing coach, I've admired this player's toughness and skills throughout this season as well as the last couple, to be honest. But the 2023 AFL Coaches Champion player goes to Zak Butters.
Set play to Butters, who throws his boot at it, puts it through for another.
And Butters swoops, goes. Comes to Butters, shakes the tackle. The superstar winds his way past a couple.
Goes for home. It's getting ridiculous how good this guy is.
A player with genuine match-winning ability. Please congratulate Zak Butters, who looks set for a big September.
Zak Butters winning it last year and taking out the award ahead of Christian Petrarca, Nick Dacos, Lockie Neal, Marcus Bontempelli shows the type of company that he has elevated himself into be, and also shows the consistency that's required. These guys are champions, and he's one of them now as well.
Butters, normally superb, and he rolls it home, always superb. He's a class act.
Despite money and fame that came with his meteoric rise, Zak remained deeply connected to Darley. volunteering whenever possible back at the club he calls home and embodying the spirit of loyalty that defines his journey from local prodigy to AFL sensation.
This is them at their explosive best. Butters took a couple of bounces in a matter of 3 or 4 steps, and there's some individual brilliance from Zak Butters.
Being a volunteer is something you do just out of your own goodwill, and it's sort of a bit in my blood now because I grew up watching others do it, so I just like doing it as well.
Clubs such as ours are becoming increasingly harder to operate. They're not just, in some sense, just a country football club. The Telstra Footy Country grants have assisted our club in particular. It is super important.
We have between 50 and 100 volunteers at the club. We can always do with more. You can't get on the ground without volunteers. Yeah, players need to be strapped, people need to run the canteen. If we don't have volunteers to be able to even put the pads on the goalposts or anything else, we can't run our club. So I suppose I'm a bit of an all-rounder as a volunteer in the club. I do the photos of the boys and the girls every week and just help the secretary and just help on game day.
Together, these committed individuals exemplify the spirit of unity that defines the Darley Football Club, where passion, teamwork and community are woven into every aspect of its vibrant existence.
Anytime I can get back, I try to get back as much as I can, and there's no way I'd be where I am today without Darley, so I think it's super important for me to give back, and that's why I keep doing it.
For respect for all football clubs, volunteers are really the lifeblood and heartbeat of any football club, and clubs can't operate without them, and so many people around Australia are just giving up their time. Darley are no different than that, and the volunteers there are amazing people.
I think one thing's really important that I've learned over the years here, that once you come into this football club, you generally don't leave. And I think that's a real key element. Whether you come here as a player and go on to a higher level, you return as a player. If you come to the club as a supporter, you're a long-term supporter. If you come to the club as a volunteer, such as myself many, many years ago, you're still here.
Volunteers at the Darley Footy Club are the real heartbeat of any footy club, and especially local footy clubs are pretty much how the club stands and how it runs, and I feel like everyone sort of has that responsibility to chip in and be a part of it. That's why when you win sort of grand finals and win games, it means that little bit more, because you know everyone's in it together, and whether you're actually playing in the event or you're helping the event, I feel like everyone feels like they're a winner.
You always see Zak Butters down there, whether he's running water or he's doing training sessions with the kids. So I think it's always important to remember where you came from.
See, we've got Zak here with under 11 seniors and reserves training, and there's 88 parents here and 4 million kids running around getting autographs and getting their top signed. Phenomenal effort. Most of your ages here are 10 and 11 years of age, aren't we? And there might be some 9-year-olds, right? So Zak played his first senior game here for Darley when he was 15. Against Sunbury, wasn't it?
I was small too. I was tiny.
How about that?
I still am pretty small.
That's right. Late 16, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's really special to have a person that still loves the footy club, even though they've got obviously the AFL to go back to. But yeah, Zak's a really special person, and we've been good mates for the best part of 15 years. We've always had a really good connection with both of our footy careers. Like, he'll still message me now to see how I'm going, and now I watch Port Adelaide more than I Brisbane, my own team, obviously, to watch how Zak's still going in his footy. He's really supportive of everything I've ever done in life. Zak's a really good friend to have.
In a moment that would define Zak's love and loyalty to the footy club, he made a heartfelt return to Darley. With Port Adelaide's season ending in the 2023 AFL Finals, Zak flew back to his hometown to support Darley's grand final preparations.
Now that my footy season was done, and yeah, I knew Darley were in a really good spot. Obviously heading to the grand final, I sort of wanted to be a part of it, and had 5 or 6 of my best mates, and then a lot of boys I still looked up to playing, and yeah, I just really wanted to come back and sort of celebrate them, and really enjoy it with them, and sort of be a part of it.
It was a monumental season for Darley, with former Essendon VFL coach Dan Jordan at the helm. Favourite son Brett Bewley as captain after an AFL stint at Fremantle, and the homecoming of VFL star Billy Myers, the football club experienced a triumphant resurgence.
Look, the boys hit some good form in the back half of the year, and we sort of came in off a strong second semi-final win against the same opposition, and we knew it was going to be a tough game, but we also thought we were a little bit underdone. We had a few guys who were a bit iffy with injuries.
He actually trained with us the week on the Tuesday, Thursday before the grand final, and just obviously having someone with the quality of Zak running around obviously lifts the training standards, and just his advice that he gives to certain people gives them that extra bit of confidence to go out and play their best footy.
He's just a ball of energy, I think. He's always bounced around person to person, conversation starter.
He makes people walk taller. I think that's the key.
First half was a bit of a blur. It went really quick. We probably weren't playing our best footy, and you often in big games, if you don't settle early, it kind of is a bit of a blur. And in the third quarter, we started getting the ball back on our terms and started moving the ball forward. Kind of changed the game. You felt the momentum start to swing. Like North were playing really good on that day, but we kind of felt like we had started to wrestle momentum back.
There is no second prize here, but it has to be ball security. It is only 2 goals, right? But we need to get that first one. We need to get the first one, right? The only blokes that can create their own energy are you blokes. Yep. We have busted our ass all year not to stumble at this final hurdle. So who's going to be the one that wins the moment that says, we are not going to lose this game? We all know. Who's going to be the one? We are. It is 2 goals and he's all.
I was at the opposite end of the ground, and I sort of clearly thought that, you know, we'd sort of lost the opportunity, and I was walking around the ground, and there was probably 2.5 minutes to go, and one of our other players, Mace Cousins, had not been paid a free kick that clearly was there well and truly.
Could have been dangerous inside defensive 50. Early fly by Myers, but taken in the air by McCallum. The ball spills out. It was for a high tackle, surely to the Devils, and now the umpire says you're gone.
And I thought, oh, damn, that's the opportunity gone. So I kept walking around the goals. Next thing, Billy was, awarded the free kick, and whether the free kick was there or not, in my view, it might have been a bit of a square off.
Darley in attack. They trail by 5 points. Grand final on the line. Ground ball, chance.
Not many people would watch the vision and know, but one of the younger players was going to take the kick, but Billy certainly let him know that this was his time to shine, and you wouldn't want the ball in anybody else's hand, I wouldn't have thought.
So Billy Myers will have a shot on goal, 30 minutes final term, and a chance to put the Devils in front in an absolute nail-biting climax.
Me and Billy grew up together, next door neighbours, kicked a lot of set shots between our backyards together, and always pictured kicking game-winning goals in grand finals.
Had the confidence that I could kick that goal. The nerves I get nervous all the time kicking goals from 10 metres out, but the nerves kind of weren't there, which is weird. It kind of went silent, but I just had a routine, obviously, that I go through when I kick my goals. So when I was at the top of my mark, I'd done everything I would normally do, and I just felt confident that I was actually going to kick the goal, which is weird in a way because usually I'm thinking about how I'm going to miss it.
In what could be the final kick on goal of the 2023 season, in the hands of Billy Myers. He comes in and pops it between the big sticks.
Siren sounds! Darley are grand final winners! A 3rd premiership in the last 15 years to get it done, and a stream of the Devils faithful sprint onto the middle of the City Oval to celebrate all as one.
When I went through, I probably haven't had a bigger smile on my face, and just being so close with Bill over the years, and he's sort of been a bit of a big brother for me. To see him sort of get success in that moment was really cool.
When the actual siren went and we were in front, it was a bit of shock, and obviously the crowd sprinted onto the oval. and all the boys are hugging in the centre of the ground, but it still hadn't sunk in, it's a weird kind of feeling after the game when you're so excited. I had a little bit of a cry, to be honest with you. My dad come on the ground and gave me a hug. Yeah, it was actually a little bit of an emotional time after winning it. Kind of all the hard work that you put in all that year just finally paid off, which was, it was awesome.
Amazing day for the club, but really a culmination of a couple of years of really hard work by a great group of individuals and also the club in totality.
Less than 48 hours later, Zak would switch out of the black and white of Darley for a black and white of a different variety, walking the 2023 Brownlow red carpet as a favourite after his outstanding All-Australian season.
Zak Butters has the chance to become Port Adelaide's second ever Brownlow medalist tonight, going into the count as one of the red-hot favourites.
For so many who bleed black and white, it's clear that this is a place which transcends the game of football. It's the fans, the generational lineages, the hard-working volunteers, the past players who uphold a culture and bond so strong that pulling on the black and white stripes every weekend is to represent every person who came before you and every other who'll come next.
Having Zak as the leader of that in the community, I think, has been massive for the football club overall. Lucas Impey is a player who could also find himself on an AFL list by the end of this season out of the Darley Football Club. He's a ruckman who played for Vic Metro at the recent Under-18 Championships and showed his wares there as a player who can really compete and contest, and we know those to be pretty good qualities out of most Darley players as well.
Congested wing, as you can see. Impey has to beat two, does beat two. Big strong mark from the ruck.
And he sends it down the line. Another strong mark to Impey, off to Reed.
There's a recurring theme here at Darley. Once you leave, no matter how far you go, you always find your way back. Whether you're Zak Butters, Billy Myers, Heath Scotland, Brett Bewley, or Aaron Cadman.
It's satisfying for me to give back to Darley. What keeps me coming back is definitely the people. I think if I can make a change or make someone's day by going back to each training session whenever I can, I think, yeah, that's why I go back and why I'll keep going back.
Darley will always be a place to call home, to welcome you with open arms. And it's waiting for you. Always.
It's just a great club, somewhere to come with our kids, good family club, great culture.
It's a community and it's a lot more part of my life than just playing sport.
You know, everyone knows everyone helps out. It's, just fun times to be down here.
You know, if you come in as an outsider and you buy into the footy club, then, the footy club wraps its arms around you and gives everything to you that you give to the footy club.
So lovely to have kids younger than you that I coach in under-10s with their kids today, and they yell out, "G'day, Johnny." That's magnificent. Gets your heart, mate. It's beautiful.
No matter which way you look at it, there's no denying it. There really is something in the water at Darley.